Hello, everyone. Welcome to Go Global World, GGW Sharks, the bi-weekly event that you all coming to pitch to investors, exciting us with your excellent projects. And we have amazing panel of judges every time coming to us as Sharks, seeking to find really great entrepreneurs and potentially either to help or invest or something else that could bring value to each other. So with long view, I'm going to kick off GGW Sharks 38. And I'm going to present the Sharks in a minute. I will tell you a few words about Go Global World and, of course, the rules. So Go Global World is the platform helping entrepreneurs to meet investors and for investors to find relevant startups. How do we do that? So imagine for yourself like LinkedIn specifically for venture capital space, where investors and have their own specifically investor page, and startups, they're having startup page. But it's not just a static page. This page contains a lot of smart things that help you automate and connect with only relevant audience. And you can share your profiles with anyone you want. So you can process connections, not only within the platform, but outside the platform. How does it work? It's really powerful. When you go on investor page, you can apply for funding, and the system will process this request and match you with relevant investor if you are a fit to them. And it saves time for investors because you're not gonna get deals that are not matching your criteria. And for startups, you are creating your one-pager, beautiful one-pager that you can share with any of the investors, like a deal room, for example, you're sharing. But imagine if this deal room would be pitching to investors automatically. So this system is pitching automatically to only relevant investors, and those who get interested, they connect, and then you connect back, and this is a match. So with this match, it's a warm connection. You can proceed, and this is how you generate connections with relevant investors fast through Go Global World. Well, we are not just connecting. We want to making sure that this technology we've built is saving you a lot of time for investors and for startups. And this is why before you even see any deal flow or investors on our network or our platform, the system is processing this, showing you only relevant. And then when requests are coming to you, you will see the list of those for relevant and not relevant, just because we are processing this and taking a decision on your behalf, and you are coming to take a final say, like either pass or connect. So this is saving you so much time, and you're working only on relevant connections. Well, with that said, Go Global World is doing this GGW Sharks event, and today we have a 38th event. We are doing this already like 14 months or more than 1 year, and it's been a success because of you, because of the judges, and the hard work of Go Global World team. So who is gonna judge today? We have Xavier Friel, Angelica Morrone, then Ellis, Hannah Savage, and Spencer Tiesse. I will let the judges to present themselves in a few moments, but the most important, it's very important that we know the rules. Now, for the rules, please keep yourself muted all the time. It's really important so that it doesn't interrupt someone who is speaking or talking. It makes it organized, except for investors. Investors can keep themselves unmuted all the time. Raise your hand to pitch. There is a digital button here in the bottom bar of Zoom. You can raise your hand, and we will look at everyone who is willing to pitch, so that help us to pre-select companies on the fly. You get 2 minutes, 2 minutes elevator pitch and questions. In order to be selected, you gotta have your first and last name of your profile here in Zoom and a company name. And please keep your video on, so we want to make sure that you're a real person and you are matching the profile that we have on our records. Now, please respect time. It's a 2 hours event maximum, and we will have a hard stop in 2 hours. GGW platform members will pitch first. Then those who filled out startup profile on our platform and emailed us about being put in the list to pitch, so we could pre-verify you, make sure that you have a quality startup, and then we can put you in the list before the event. Then others, if we have time, on a first come first served basis. And if you don't pitch for this time and you won't get a chance to pitch, next event you'll have the priority, and so you just need to email us. What the criteria we have, it's only for startups with sales, evidence of IP, and a scalable business models. We rarely do exceptions because sometimes large projects like in life sciences and hardware may not have enough may not have revenue, but they already are quite at a later stage in terms of funding. So we're looking at every single project, and sometimes we make exceptions. But this is our criteria, and please respect them. Please don't push my team. I know you all want to pitch. They will try their best to give you opportunity to give opportunity to everyone to pitch who wants to pitch. But we want to make sure that's a quality project and meets our criteria. And the final thing, how to make this an ideal 2-minute elevator pitch? Well, keep it as a story, but get to the point of what you do. You don't need to explain the problem and the solution, like what you do. This is what is being asked by most of the judges throughout the year. And so don't wait and say what you do. And then add why you're unique and talk about your traction. If you spoke before, then please tell us what has significantly changed since you pitched last time. And finally, we have also investors, advisors in our chat sometimes as well. So please share your GGW profiles in the chat and network, support each other. And if anyone happens to sell you something during the chat, please tell us. We will remove those people from the chat. This is a safe environment where entrepreneurs help entrepreneurs. And with that said, let's make some noise, take some screenshots of us during the event, and share it on LinkedIn, Twitter, and on and tag GoGoBo World speakers and others. If you would have questions to me and my team, this is our contact, this is our website, gogobo.world, info@gogobo.world. With that said, that's it. I'm super excited to let the judges to present themselves, and let's start with. Let's start just a second. Let's start with Angelica Morrone. Angelica, you are muted. Could you please turn off?
Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. I didn't want to bother anyone. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Daniel. I've been here since the beginning of the show, and I have seen the show growing and getting better and better. It is a true enjoyment to listen to the pitches. I am an angel investor based in Lugano, Switzerland, but I am also a hedge fund manager. So I've lived most of my life in finance. I thoroughly enjoy investing. I gather a lot of energy out of listening to entrepreneurial ideas. So I'm looking forward to hearing you. Good luck, and we'll chat if it is appropriate and aligned with my objectives. Thank you.
Exciting to have you, Angelica. And Angelica been since the first days. It's been over the year Angelica is participating. It's so exciting. Thank you for being with us. Anna Savas, please take your turn.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet all of you. Super excited to be here. This is my first time. I am an investment associate at Techstars. Techstars is the largest pre-seed investor globally. I work across 2 programs. I'm on Techstars Payment, which is fintech blockchain across Latin America. And then I also support Techstars Chicago, which is global AI. And I focus on the entirety of the program. So I am in charge of sourcing. I work with companies during the program. I help them with pitches. I help them with fundraising strategy. And then post-program, I work with startups to help connect them with investors. So really excited to hear all of the pitches today, and good luck.
Thank you so much, and excited to have you, and especially you represent Techstars. It's very exciting that you joined. Thank you. Dan Ellis, your turn.
Hey, thanks, Daniel. Hey, everyone. I'm Dan Ellis here in Austin, Texas. I was the founder of an HR tech SaaS company that went from inception to exit. So I have been in your seat before. I started angel investing back in 2014. And more recently, I actually started representing the interests of a family office in helping them deploy venture capital. We are mostly sector agnostic. We're basically just looking for founders that excite us, that are working on interesting products that have some degree of traction. And yeah, really glad to be back and excited to hear the pitches today.
Thank you so much, Dan. And Dan has been with us also for about a year, and I'm really excited you are joining every time. Thank you. Spencer, please go next.
Thanks, Neil. Yeah, so my name is Spencer. I'm a principal at VU Venture Partners. We're a multi-stage generalist fund in offices in Hong Kong and San Francisco. We invest in anything pre-seed through Series A, check sizes 100K to $1 million. So yeah, that's pretty much us. Looking forward to hearing some pitches.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us again. Appreciate it, Spencer. Javier, exciting to have you. We met with Javier in New York, as far as I remember, and had great conversation, and I'm really excited that you joined us. So please feel free to open our global session and introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be here. It's good to see you again, Danielle. So I'm Xavier Friel. I'm an analyst at Plainsight Capital. We're a very new venture capital firm based out of Philly. We invest in pre-seed and seed stage startups, specifically B2B SaaS. We like product-led growth models, companies that can go serve SMBs. So that's what we look for. Excited to be here. Excited to meet the founders. But yeah.
Perfect. Great to have you. And with that said, we have amazing panel of judges ready to see you and hear your pitches. And this is the time we get started. I'm kicking off myself from the stage, and I'm the first person to present is Robert Lugovsky. Robert, are you ready? Hello, Robert, are you there? Please turn on your mic. So
yes. Hello, everybody. Robert, greetings from Switzerland.
okay.
So I had the privilege to be on your side as a venture capitalist, looking for so many digital health and artificial intelligence startups in health tech. But I identify one major problem, which is a lack of clinical data, and of course the difficulty on that side.
Also, it's very hard to hear you, so please don't go too fast. And you got
Okay.
So you may start now.
Okay. So we identified the problem with lack of clinical data, or not sufficient time on doctor side to put data in just another system to get the results. And that's the reason why the CleanNote was created. It's a software as a service company based in Europe with some initial traction. What we do is that we have technology that supports doctors in creation of medical documentation, but this is not the purpose. The purpose of CleanNote is to gather clinical data, real-world data, and the main characteristic of this solution is that we don't need API, we don't need integration with hospital information systems. We can work with any hospital information system. We can also work with any language in any country. So it's very useful for doctors working in communities on the same projects like clinical trials, real-world data studies, but also more and more precision medicine kind of projects, molecular tumor boards. And these are the projects that we usually support with our technology. Our traction is we started selling directly to hospitals, but we realized that it's too long selling cycle. So right now our go-to-market model is that we partnership with pharma, CROs, or healthcare IT companies, and working together with them, we usually approach large number of hospitals. Example of projects that we recently signed is a network of hospitals working with Novartis on quality of healthcare of care. Another one is
Your past time. Yeah.
Okay, yes, I give you a project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Dear Sharks, do you have any questions? It was hard to hear, so I'm afraid it will be hard to understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you clarify who your customer is, please?
usually pharma companies or CROs.
Thank you.
And kind of to expand on that, Robert, can you talk about what is the main problem that your startup is solving for these companies?
Yes, so we automate data entry. For example, in clinical trial, we automate the whole data entry process. In real-world data studies, in registers, we work in a way that we save doctors' time, and in the same time, we collect the data and feed the other systems.
Got it. Okay.
Right. Any more questions?
How are you making money?
It's typical software as a service offering. So we charge between 25 to 50 euros per user, per doctor on a monthly basis.
Okay. Thank you very much, Robert. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
My final question to the Sharks, is anyone interested to connect with Robert? Okay, Robert, thank you for your presentation. Please share your contact details here in the chat, especially your GGW profile. We have more investors here, and if anyone gets interested, we will be happy to connect you with them. And we're moving on, and the next presenter is Alex Ivanenko. Alex, are you there? You ready? Okay, please turn on your mic. You got
Yes, Daniel. I really apologize, but unfortunately my voice is not in good condition today. With me on the call, Sam Rubin. He's right now also in the room. If you can replace me to him, it will be better, okay? And he will pitch.
What's
Sam Rubin.
So, Sam Rubin.
Do you see him?
Did he raise the hand? I didn't see him.
I did, yes.
You did raise, right? Just a second. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, I really apologize, but
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. Go for it. You got 2 minutes.
Wonderful. So my name is Sam Rubin. I'm one of the co-founders of Hiwatts, where our mission is to make renewable power uninterruptible. And we're reshaping the energy landscape with hydrogen-based long-duration energy storage. It all started because we were looking at our bills here in California and realizing how high they are. And we're really confused because we know renewable power is really cheap. It's like 6 cents a kilowatt hour, but here we are paying 42 cents a kilowatt hour. So we did a deep dive, realized that over 50% of the bill was transmission and distribution. Additionally, when we go to drive our electric vehicles, often when we get outside of urban centers, there's nowhere to charge our cars. And part of that is that transmission infrastructure is simply too expensive. It's as much as $4 million per mile, and you lose as much as 20% of the energy loss as you get farther and farther from that generation sector. So we've been looking at hydrogen, which is incredibly energy dense. 1 kilogram of hydrogen can provide enough energy for a US home for a single day. Additionally, it's clean, it's safe, it's a proven technology. So why isn't it being used in energy storage? Well, the reality is current systems to go from electricity to hydrogen to electricity require 2 expensive components, an electrolyzer and a fuel cell, plus complex cooling systems and complex water treatment systems. With our solution, we utilize a high temperature membrane cell, which allows us to eliminate the water treatment because we're using steam, and also eliminates the need for water-based cooling by using a much simpler air-based cooling system. Additionally, and critically, we developed a coating for the membrane, which allows us to take that electrolyzer and that fuel cell and combine them into a single unit, reducing CapEx by over 2 times and allowing us to deploy our solution as a long-duration energy storage pretty much anywhere that you either don't have the infrastructure for renewable energy and EV charging, or where that infrastructure is going to be costly and time-consuming to achieve. So we're able to deliver power to community microgrids at 16 cents a kilowatt hour, for EV charging stations at 15 cents a kilowatt hour, below PG utilities business rate in many cases, at least here in California, while additionally providing heavy industry with a cost-effective source of green hydrogen for steel, glass manufacturing, and other industry that requires high heat, which is very difficult to achieve otherwise with clean air.
Please wrap this up. What will be your final statement to say?
Certainly. We have 200,000 in signed agreements, 41 million in LOIs, and 4 billion in customer interest today. And we're looking to raise 2 to 5 million to support us in the next 12 to 24 months.
Wow, it's impressive traction. Thank you. Dear Sharks, do you have questions?
Yeah, I would be interested to know your personal backgrounds. This is a pretty technical startup, so do you have
It is. So my background is actually in sustainability, and previously was a founder at Mighty Buildings doing 3D printed construction. But we have an amazing technical team. Dietmar Trees, our CTO, is a veteran of Pratt & Whitney and ASML, has also done extensive work in the hydrogen space at High Point and ZeroAvia. So he brings significant technical background, as well as our CEO, Alex, who was on briefly as the founder of High Point and having worked extensively with 3M and Owens Corning. And we also have other incredible scientists working with us as well.
So just to clarify, is your proposition that you're going to use the excess energy that is on the grid or in a system at any given time to create and store hydrogen more effectively? Is that sort of the value proposition?
So it's really looking at distributed production. So where you have renewable generation, combining our system with that to provide long-term storage to deal with the intermittent nature, but also, and while providing five days or more of energy supply in cases where it's not, the wind isn't blowing or the sun isn't shining, it's cloudy, while also being able to be on grid connected systems and provide significant behind the meter benefits for regulatory mandates and other demand response aspects.
So this is something that might be like at a governmental level of interest, for grid stability, especially in California. I know that's been an issue over the number of years. What evidence do you have that the market wants this?
So we've been, well, along with the traction that we already have, which includes a pilot for a supercharger station and a pilot for a home microgrid. We also are seeing significant interest through our partnership with ARCHES, which is the California Hydrogen Collaborative being driven by the Department of Energy. And there's a great study from McKinsey and the Long Duration Energy Storage Council that points to the need for as much as 50% of the 2.5 terawatts of installed storage that we need by 2040 being for 24-hour plus duration solutions. And so we're looking at, by 2040, a $3 trillion plus dollar market.
Have you created your own set of hardware to facilitate this, or are you using sort of off-the-shelf pre-existing technologies?
Yeah, so we have partnerships with BASF and Sumbo Unitech. BASF, we're able to use one of their existing high temperature membrane solutions and then combine it with our proprietary coating in order to unlock the reversibility and the durability that's required for this use case. And then Sumbo Unitech is one of the world's leading suppliers of electrolyzers, and we are their exclusive partner for distribution in the United States and the UK. And so we're well positioned to take advantage of off-the-shelf components, combine it with our secret sauce in order to make sure costs are as low as possible. And those numbers that I quoted for the energy costs, that was unsubsidized. So when we start counting for subsidies, those prices significantly come down.
So I'm curious, what exactly is, in like 2 sentences, what is the secret sauce here?
It's a unique coating that allows the phosphoric acid in high temperature membrane to not leach out during operation of the electrolyzer and fuel cell.
All right. So are there any sharks interested to connect with Sam, his co-founder?
Yeah, we should talk.
Yeah, I'd like to hear a little bit more as well.
All right. So two sharks are in. What about the rest of the sharks? Thank you. Appreciate that, Sam. Great pitch.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to connecting.
Awesome.
Thanks, Sam.
Well, so thank you. Congrats. Please share your GGW profile here in the chat. Now, the next one is Gaurav Horia. Gaurav, are you there? You ready?
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you well. So you got 2 minutes and you may start now.
Hi there. I'm Gaurav. I'm the founder and CEO of Mammoth Analytics. So at Mammoth, our goal is to accelerate the pathway to insights. And today, for pretty much any mid-sized company onwards, to take data from its raw state all the way to insights is a lot of work. On top of that, 80 to 90% is spent in data preparation where there's no value add. It's laborious and no one wants to really do that. And this leaves very little time to spend on insights. So Mammoth reduces that 90% to 5%. More importantly, we allow the business users to make faster and better decisions. We're able to accomplish this by removing all the technical barriers and completely eliminating the back and forth between IT and engineering. It's a no-code solution for every part of the journey, from data ingestion to storage, to discovery, to transformation and analysis. In terms of traction, we're focused on two verticals: consumer goods and financial services. In consumer goods, we have some amazing customers, including Starbucks, Bacardi, Arla, and it's growing. We have a couple of more logos signing up this month. What is most exciting, though, is our entry into the financial services space. We have the second largest bank in the world as a client. And as of yesterday, which is why I'm speaking again after 2 weeks, as of yesterday, they want to deploy our solution across multiple regions. It's a KYC problem that we're solving. It's a substantial project. We're replacing a top 4 consulting company, and there's a lot of room for growth here. What is also exciting is that this is an unsolved problem for most banks. And for this round, we are raising 3 million, and out of that, about 1 million is committed. So if you're interested, I'd love to chat.
Right on time, just second to second. Thank you. Appreciate that. Dear Sharks, your questions.
Can you tell me about the competition and maybe with that, like, what is your differentiator?
So if you just throw the word analytics and data preparation and transformation of data, there are a lot of, it's a fairly crowded space. We were going up against some business intelligence solutions, companies like Alteryx and Tableau and Power BI, and these guys. Our differentiator is we're the only no-code product. So instead of it being that whole raw data to insights, that process sitting in the centralized world of IT and engineering, we make that decentralized and put it at the departmental level. So that removes the back and forth between engineering.
And do you think that differentiation is sustainable? Do you think that other companies might be able to come in and come with a no-code solution?
So there are about 5 different components to this. So and you kind of need all of them. So how do you ingest data, multiple sources of data? How do you store that data? How do you do a bit of discovery and figure out what the garbage in, garbage out problem is? What are the tools involved for the garbage in, garbage out? And then how do you analyze? So each of those, there are some solutions out there that are no code if you just look at them in silos. But as a comprehensive solution, there's nothing out there. And it's a lot of years worth of work. So we're ahead by probably a couple of years from most of the competition.
Great. And are you mainly focused on the US right now?
Yeah, we're it's a Delaware C corp, but we're headquartered in London. We have a couple of clients in the US. We have a couple of clients in the UK. As in, like, most of our clients are in the UK and Europe, mainly because of the geographic presence today. But part of this fundraise is to expand focus into the US, which is the bigger market.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
From a customer standpoint, who's like the actual end user? And can you kind of describe their journey from when they experience that problem to finding Mammoth and how it solves that problem?
Yeah, so in the consumer goods space, essentially what we do is the problem we're solving is sales data that's sitting in disparate siloed places. And it's typically the category managers who are struggling with this problem of trying to blend these together. So it's category managers, brand managers, insights managers within the sales world, within consumer goods. In the financial services space, it's a fairly big deal with this one client. We're in late stage talks with a couple of other clients. So we just have a couple of data points, but they are specifically, this is the KYC department, and it's a non-IT world. So they're a KYC specialist in the bank, and so yeah, and just in terms of the awareness of how they come to know us, it's so far it's been through partnerships. So we are not domain experts in any of these. We have Nielsen is a partner of ours, and we have a couple of ex-JP Morgan guys who have a consulting company who are partners of ours. So the general go-to-market is to expand on the partnership model.
And what does that onboarding process look like? Is it a lift on your guys' end to integrate with their systems? Or is it like self-serve? What does it look like?
It's just in terms of the problem complexity, it ranges. Like you could have like super complex problems, and there's nothing to do with the product itself. You could have medium size and then really simple problems. In all of those cases, so if it's a very complex problem, the experience we've had is it's sort of a 3-month onboarding process where there's a bit of more involvement on our side. There's a non-recurring charge on our side, set of costs. But then we have a lot of proof points where it's completely self-serve with our clients.
All right. Thank you very much.
One more quick question. I just want to talk about pricing really quick. Like, what is your sort of average contract value that you're seeing? Because I know, like, with BI tools, it seems to be over the last like couple of decades, it's been this like race to the bottom where just like prices are dropping because it's almost like commoditized. I mean, like Google's like Google Analytics and data tools are almost free. Like, are you positioning in such a way that you can add enough value to start to like charge a premium?
Exactly. So our highest enterprise customer pays $15K a month, and then there are these SMBs who don't want to pay more than a couple hundred, right? So it ranges. Essentially, for the large enterprises, what we're doing is replacing the need for hiring an FTE. So we come in as a sort of a cheaper option, because even with those race to the bottom products, you still need to hire someone who is technically adept to handle that. So we remove the need for that.
All right. Are there any sharks interested to connect with Gaurav? Okay. Angelica is having some technical problems. She's come back. So if she is interested, I'll let you know. Thank you very much, Gaurav. Please share your GGW profile in the chat. We have more investors here, and if anyone interested, we'll definitely connect you with them.
Thanks.
Appreciate that. And the next person to present is Alexei Gardo. Alexei, are you there?
Hello. It's actually Cardo.
Cardo. Okay. So you got 2 minutes. Let me start.
Yes. Well, you all follow influencers and communities on social media, right? The problem is that even though there is Instagram shopping technology, product tags, nobody of those influencers and communities use them. Take a look. That's because they lack technology, contracts with brands, teams, anything. And brands are actually not quite happy advertising with influencers because sometimes posts work and bring sales, sometimes they don't. And we have solved this problem. Our system, a software system, deploys individual stores for any influencer with selection of brands they like, selected style, bonuses for their influencers. We do this in 5 minutes. And after that, influencers can just tag products, encourage followers, buy from my store. This is very important. It's all about motivation. And that's it. The rest is done by our system. It's a huge system. It's linked to brands' inventory, catalogs, shipping services, 3PL centers. Whole delivery of products is done automatically. That's how good it is. And we also process payments. And this is about the money. Brands give us 50%. And we have 50 brands willing to work on this model, 5 operating right now. Of those 50%, we give 20% to influencer and keep 30 for our expenses and our profit. And well, basically that's it. We have sold this way 5,000 orders, and we plan to switch to full-time sales. We just need a few months for that. And I hope soon you all will be able to shop what you see on social media right away, right on those pages. And maybe even you and your family members will be able to monetize from their pages, communities with this technology, doing nothing. This is my pitch.
Perfect. Right on time. Thank you very much, dear Sharks. Any questions to Alexei?
I have a quick question, and that is, what stage are you at? You mentioned that you already have some brands that you're following. Tell us a little bit about your traction.
We have a soft run. We turn advertisement and off every week. We generate 10, 50, 100 orders, but then we have to pause advertisement and address all the issues coming up in the system, because logistics, reservations, finances, it's all processed by the system. And we are making these spans shorter and shorter, and we have to tell influencers, stop advertisement. We don't want you to sell too much. And this is terrible. And our goal now is to switch to actual full-time sales when influencers can post every day, and we are confident that we can fulfill all the orders.
Thank you.
So, Alexei, are you just buying likes for brands, or does the engagement go a little bit deeper than that? Are they promoting the product, like actually giving testimonials, or is this just buying likes and thumbs ups?
It's so different. Some of the posts are just like a swimsuit laying at the table of influencer. She says, "Oh, I like it, and by the way, you can buy it from my store," and we get 50 orders in one day. It's always different. What we see is that followers really like to copy the influencer. What they see or what they are recommended by influencer, they want to buy right away without going to third-party pages and sites, right away. And this is what we have been focusing on. And influencers get daily payouts, instant traction, and this motivates influencers too. They feel that this is their own store. They choose product, they choose brand, and get instant reward.
So do they actually receive the product? Are they showing the product on Instagram, or are they just liking posts?
No. Every week we have to talk with influencers, discussing what they want to advertise. Brands ship them those products, and actual posts begin about a week or two after they select products. It's a combination of sales and marketing for brands, but they're very happy. That's why they give us 50%. And even those brands who do not have retail departments, who only sell wholesale, they make an exception for us and ship to our 3PL center in LA once a week, twice a week. And often they don't have a staff for us, and we have vice presidents helping us to make this work.
How do you do the attribution on sales? So I'm a brand and I'm selling a new beverage, and I put it out there and it gets sent to the influencer. Are they like buying it through a referral link, or like how do you attribute a particular influencer with a sale?
This is the key thing. Our system deploys an individual store, a website with a store for influencer in 5 minutes.
Okay, I see.
Usually, for the followers, in every way, it looks like they are shopping actually from the influencer. Actually, his looks or her looks, her own site. We even have, for big influencers, program when we ship it with gift boxes, custom made, and autograph cards inside from the influencer. And we have lots of unpacking videos. Followers go crazy about it.
Thank you.
They don't want to shop from brands as much as they want to shop from the influencer directly.
Okay, Alexei, thank you. And the final question I have to the Sharks. Is there anyone interested? Are you guys in or out?
I'm out just because it's not really my ballpark, but I would say when you Google InstaShop, there's a couple results that come up, and one of the main ones is buying likes on Instagram. I'm not going to say you should rename your company, but think about it a little.
We will have to rename it. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
We have a couple of options.
Great feedback. Alexei, please share your information here in the chat, keep connecting with investors and support others here today on the pitch. Thank you for your presentation. The next person to present is Keith Martin. Keith, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, so let me locate you. Just a second. All right, you got 2 minutes and you may start now.
Okay. Hello, my name is Keith Martin, and I'm the founder of Digidex, your digital Rolodex. I was working through a spreadsheet of contact information that my sales and marketing department had given me to to check out of our CRM system and confirm that the phone numbers and email addresses for those contacts were current. And I couldn't help but wonder if there wasn't a better way to do this than a manual process. And so the more I dug into it, I found that 25% of customer data in CRM goes stale within a year. And as recently as 2021, it was estimated that out-of-date information costs United States companies at least 10% of their sales in missed sales opportunities. So people move, they take a new job, they move across the country, and they end up changing their contact information. Those changes typically made into a CRM via a manual update process. And somehow, somebody has to manually find that information and enter it into a CRM to get that record updated. But what I've done is created Digidex, which is a digital Rolodex where each user self-maintains and self-validates their contact information and then builds out their contact network from there. So everybody within your Digidex network has already validated their contact information, and if it changes, they go through a validation process to confirm that the new information is correct, and it's automatically available to you, through the Digidex app. That means that you always have the current email address or phone number for the people in your network. And then the idea is to feed that into CRM network that is connected to, if you're working for a company that has a Salesforce CRM, you have a link to that feeds that information automatically into the CRM so that you know that it always has the most current contact information. It's really not done at this point. There's a lot of contact managers out there. They do a good job of capturing the initial contact and business card type stuff. But after that, it's a manual process typically to update that information. LinkedIn does have that information available automatically, but it's hard to send an email or do a phone call through LinkedIn.
What would be your final statement?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway, we're on our MVP right now. We're working on our CRM application, and we're looking for a $250,000 investment for 20% of the company.
Thank you. 50K for 20%. Anyone have any questions to Keith?
Yeah. So, I mean, you mentioned LinkedIn. How do you really compete with them? Because if they're free, I would just go on and search them up.
Well, right. But, I want to make a phone call. I can't do that through LinkedIn. And that's where if you're on my, basically we want the Digidex app to become your contact manager on your phone. So as you're scrolling through your contacts, you know that you've got the most, the current phone number, current email address of those people. And it, clicking on that takes them to, whatever your default app is for your phone call or messaging or email.
So how would you, I guess, defend that from, like, I could see if you were successful, Apple just deciding to do that themselves.
Sure, and that could be an exit strategy for us.
Pete, with respect to the product, explain to me, does everyone in the network need to have Digidex on their does the contact and the contactee, do they all need to have that program in order for this to work?
They need to have the app in order for that contact information to feed them automatically.
I'd love for you to flip the script on it, because I see that trying to get that network effect where enough people are using Digidex is going to be a massive challenge. But if you had an app and you just stuck to having that be an integration to things like LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and maybe every place where my email might reside, and I could update it in one place and have it cascade to all those systems, that would be phenomenal. Because I move around a fair bit, and so I'm just thinking, to Xavier's point about you've got this juggernaut in the room, with LinkedIn and all these other incumbent CRM systems, that is going to be an impossible nut to crack. So I think but like for what it's worth, I think there's something there, but I would just like twist the product focus a little bit.
Yeah.
What has customer discovery looked like up to this point? Your early stage, you're working on your MVP. How often are you talking to your potential customers, and what are you learning from them?
Talking to customers fairly regularly. We're not doing a ton of advertising and all of that at this point because we really want to get the CRM piece of this connected in. I think some of the UI UX maybe are the biggest input that we've had from people. They love the idea. They just make it easier to use, more functional for them, have more information available, to Dan's point about social media connections, things like that.
And are you primarily speaking with salespeople?
Don't know the answer to that, right? I mean, I'm speaking to individuals, so I don't always know what their particular role is, right?
Okay.
Keith, I noticed that you have 54 followers on LinkedIn. If this is a space where you're talking about connections, I would suggest, I think it's a great idea. I always have older phone numbers, so I love the idea of having a solution, but you may want to approach it in a more systemic manner and think about doing a proof of concept, as Hannah was saying, speaking to customers, or even being on the socials and on the social media and seeing what's out there.
Okay.
Thank you very much. The final question, anyone in or out? Everyone is out. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, please share your GGW profile and we're moving on. The next presenter is Lucas Spinoli. And Lucas, you ready? Please turn on your mic.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, you got 2 minutes. You may start.
Great, thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Lucas Spinoli. I'm a co-founder at Block Arrow Technologies. We are a B2B SaaS startup that helps aerospace organizations create digital twins of their aviation assets in order to secure their commercial, operational, and above all, their safety data. Our product is a platform that centers around asset management use cases, such as track and trace, maintenance, and supply chain management. And to give you all a better idea of what that looks like in terms of a real life business use case, I'm sure everyone here is very well aware of all the negative press that the aerospace industry has gotten really in the past year. But if you think back to September, we had a major crisis in our industry where airlines from around the world were discovering fake assets and fake data surrounding these assets in their supply chains. And this is a really serious issue, and it's something that we're able to deliver immediately to our customers. And we do that by securing customer data on a Hyperledger Fabric, which is a private and permission blockchain protocol. So to be clear, there's no cryptocurrencies involved with this. Today, we have about 10 companies and 150 users from around the world using our products. At any given time, there's about $300 million worth of transactional value being managed on the platform. We're at a $75,000 MRR with a commercial pipeline that'll bring us well over the 100K mark in the next 2 months. On top of that, really exciting to announce that we'll be getting publicly endorsed by a second major regulator, the first one being the United Nations. And our goal is really just to keep growing. We're looking to 3x our revenues just in this fiscal year. We are a global company that is based in Asia, specifically in Bangkok, Thailand. So it can be kind of challenging to manage these companies from all around the world. But for the next year and probably for the foreseeable future, we're really going to be focused on the US market. That's going to be the key driver for us. We've already got a lot of penetration there and a lot of support there. So what we're looking for is just investors that are here to help us become better founders, push ourselves more so that we can execute as best as we can and just make our company successful as we go over time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Sharks, do you have any questions to Lucas?
So the private blockchain, that's what you're using, right? Private blockchain?
Yeah, private and permission.
Private and permission. So does that mean like if I was a vendor and a supplier gave me access, I could then trace the product on the blockchain as well?
So we actually do have customers operating that way. They'll give certain vendors or certain business partners specific access to a specific asset within a certain workflow that they would be engaged in. So then that whoever it is that they invite on, they would only be able to see parameters that the owner of that asset or that manager of the asset would allow them to see. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And is there any benefit of just having it on a private blockchain versus just a public blockchain?
In terms of just being able to see who's all participating or like all the assets that are there in the data, our industry as a whole is very sensitive about the data that they work with. So in that regard, that would be pretty problematic, right? So let's say if I were to pay Block Arrow and start using Block Arrow, I could only see the assets that I own/operate, right? I wouldn't be able to see others unless someone were to share it with us in like a marketplace scenario. So I hope that does answer your question, because I think there's a few ways to kind of tackle that one.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Can I ask, how are you connecting the physical assets to the blockchain?
Mm-hmm. So different assets have different use cases. It's really hard to have sensors or anything on most of the assets that go in the air, just because the temperature gets crazy and they have all these rules and regulations. But for the ones that are mostly not in the air, like ground support equipment, we use IoT sensors. That's just really basic for us to use. For the ones that do go up in the air, they already have ways to read the data, the data outputs that come off them. So like, let's say an engine part, right? Like I have, as someone who works on an engine, I would have ways to access the key parameters that I need. It's just the way that the industry stores and manages and collaborates and shares all of this. We were just on site with a major customer in Hong Kong 2 days ago. They don't have a way to even manage their inventory, which I think is ridiculous. And they're quite a large company.
Okay.
So
when you say major customer here, who exactly are you working with? Because I know that Airbus has an open source platform that purports to try to do this. I think Boeing's developing one as well. So who exactly is your customer here?
So the OEMs would be customers like Airbus or Boeing. We're very deeply involved with both of them, more Airbus than Boeing right now. So they are definitely partners that are going to be coming online at some point. OEMs, airlines, leasing companies, regulators, and then you have kind of really industry specific companies like what we call suppliers, traders, I think maintenance companies, right? And the scale is quite massive. To give you an idea, there's about 10,000 SME traders and suppliers in aviation just in Florida, which is quite a lot. So those, this value chain goes very deep.
Interesting.
Yeah, and to be specific, we're focused on commercial aviation first, although we are already starting to branch out into helicopters and probably private business jets soon.
Thank you, Lucas.
Lucas, sorry, real quick, Daniel, if you don't mind, just a real quick question about your defensibility. And is there an aspect of a regulatory environment that would drive the adoption of your product, or is this something that sort of lies outside of the purview of regulatory?
Absolutely, regulators have been very bullish on something like what we're doing. The United Nations were the first ones that were on board, and we operate with them in a humanitarian aspect. The one that we're doing right now that will be announced very soon will be centered around some use cases that the regulators want to explore first. But ultimately, from like kind of a macro level perspective, as a regulator, I want to be able to go and audit all these companies that I have to be in charge of, essentially, right? Like look what's happening right now with the FAA and Boeing. If the FAA had a way to just audit all of Boeing's work, because Boeing does have to report it and store it somewhere. If they had that kind of transparency, that's something that they would love to have. They dream of that, and so they're trying to push this. It's going to come online in Asia first, and then most likely Europe before the FAA makes moves. So if you are interested in that, I'd pay attention to those spots. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And the final question to the Sharks: anyone interested to connect? Anyone in?
Yeah, I'd like to connect.
Same here.
Yeah, I will also connect.
Cool.
Sharks are fantastic. So Lucas, congrats. We will connect you with the Sharks today or tomorrow after the event. Please share your GGW.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Lucas.
We move on. But before I announce any next presenter, dear investors, are you doing good? So far, so good. The intensity is fun. Perfect. All right, we continue on. The next one is Gerald Poske. Gerald, are you there? You ready?
I am. I'm ready.
Okay, we see you now. You got 2 minutes, and you may start now.
Great. I hope you're ready for something really big. Swift Cities changes cities. We've created an entirely new mode of transportation, and we're like the early railroads, where we can make money off the transportation and an amazing amount of money off the real estate. We spun out of Google's real estate division, where I was responsible for solving billion-dollar problems on our large corporate campuses. And then we created the solution that any large developer can afford. What we've created looks like a ski resort gondola, but the cables don't move. The vehicles are autonomous, drive themselves along, and now they switch across an entire interconnected network. What this means for you, you go to the station, you get in one, it's going to pick you up, take you across the network on a private ride directly to the station you were after, then pull over, let you out. It's like the perfect Uber in the air with an incredible view. Our go-to-market strategy focuses on private sector customers, so we're not dealing with government sales until later. And we have had more than $700,000 in revenue to date and a very full pipeline. I've assembled my dream team. We've been together on average 10 years across the team, representing autonomy, civil engineering, and city planning. Our business model doesn't rely on the hardware. We supply the software, giving us high margins and recurring revenue. Our prototype is with our hardware partners in New Zealand, and that's where the first project is soon going to break ground. Our funding round is interesting. Autotech Ventures is leading a $9 million seed round, but they are allowing us to finish the last $300,000 of our pre-seed under the current safe terms. So we have something for everybody. It's an exciting time for us. The pipeline is full. We have active leads among developers, resorts, and cities, and there's becoming a competition over who's going to be first. So we'd love to have a few more investors on board to join us as we transform cities around the world.
Well, super exciting. The project is transforming the cities around the world. DSAM Sharks, what's your question to Gerald?
If you're targeting private customers, who's going to be building the stations, and how do you determine where these stations are located?
Yeah, our target customers, the initial ones, are generally fully private or maybe it's mostly private and onto the public sector. You use easements, and there's established ways of using public right-of-way for private services. The cable companies, the telephone companies have always done that. So if we're on the private property, it's the developer we're working with. If that answer the question.
Kind of.
Okay.
Gerald, I was just on your website. It's like, this is one that has to be visualized to be appreciated. It looks awesome. It'd be amazing if stuff like this actually gained traction. So you just mentioned that you're only doing just the software. Can you like clarify that a little bit for kind of what the market opportunity is in that, and why you decided to kind of use a third-party partner, and like what is the totality of your involvement in, say, the delivery of one of these systems?
Yeah, it's our IP is around the software, and then the defensibility is around, we do the full implementation. So the hardware partner is just a design and manufacturing group. They have no desire to get out there in the market. So we have the exclusive over most of the world to be the ones who are out there installing it. So we will make a pretty large upfront revenue profit margins on the hardware piece, but we're not in the difficult parts of the hardware piece. Our IP is around the software, and then we do the full install.
So this partner is building it, but you are actually selling the hardware. Is that what you're saying? You kind of like offloaded the manufacturing process, which would be good.
When we were at Google,
okay.
It was somebody we trusted to develop bespoke, innovative technology, and in the long run, we'll get under one roof again. But the early feedback from investors was, don't complicate your life by going into manufacturing in your early stages.
Yeah, that's sound advice.
Smart, yeah.
So sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, please go ahead.
No, I've got my couple of questions, and it's your turn.
Okay. No, so I was going to mention, I think, Gerald, I think we connected after the last event, and you mentioned we both overlapped at Google around the same time. And my memory is that Larry and Sergey were trying to do something similar to this in San Francisco about 10 years ago. And it it fell apart for whatever reason, probably bureaucracy, but I'm curious, like, what do you think has changed in your mind?
I think the go-to-market strategy is key. I think Google always wanted to solve the world's problem. Larry wanted to solve the world's problems everywhere at once and pick the most complicated place to do it. And we're, I'll just say smarter, if I can say that. We're not going to go in San Francisco. We're not going to pick the most difficult places. It's crazy to I can understand if we can do it here, we can do it anywhere. It's not our strategy. We're going for the low-hanging fruit, and then you work up the tree.
Cool. Okay, makes sense.
Are there more questions from the Sharks?
Maybe you just kind of talk about what you're seeing for appetite around this. Like, this is a alternative way of doing transportation. Is this something that cities would put in place, like as a substitute for a light rail transit, or is it like complementary to that, or what would be the specific use case?
Yeah, the biggest use case is complementary to transit, where right now the transit is kind of focused around maybe a half mile. The buildup is around a half mile around a station, because once you have to wait for a shuttle bus, like it just doesn't work when you're waiting for a bus. But when you have a non-stop system that's waiting for you, now you can look at a 2-3 mile radius around the transit station, and that's a 9 times larger area that you can serve.
And what about for things like airports, where you see a use case around that, like sort of shuttle type concept, moving, ferrying people between terminals? That seems like a potentially obvious use case. Has that been considered?
Yes, airports are particularly slow moving. They're wonderful long range planners, so they're not in our immediate go to market because they kind of do everything on 20-year plans. But you're right. I mean, we've had some surprising hits among some universities. There's one in the Northeast that's looking, where you've got split campuses, you've got a few nodes that people are moving around. You always have a parking problem. You always have a transportation problem. So we originally thought of airports, and it turns out universities have been a stronger early market. And the airports are going to come a little later.
Thank you. Dear Sharks, the final question to you: is there any one of you in to connect with Gerald?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, our play in this space is more underground transport, but I imagine there's some synergies there. So happy to make an intro to our portfolio company.
Perfect. Spencer and Dan are in. All right.
Yeah.
Congrats. Gerald, please share your GGW profile here in the chat, and great innovation. It was exciting to listen to it, like everyone else as well. Thank you. The next presenter is Sasha Sergeyev. Sasha, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, you got 2 minutes, and you may start now.
Okay, I'm a founder of Spike Dynamics, a company which is developing innovative piezo muscles for aerospace and robotics. The major advantages I will show you. This is a regular stuff. This is a regular actuator for opening and closing the door. You can see that it's bulky and it's huge. And our replacement of the same power is like this. It's very small. So the main advantage in size and weight and mass is very important for aerospace. Is very important for robotics, because with these devices, the robots and drones and other equipment will be much lighter and faster and more precise. And it's also, the technology also allows to manufacture the devices which can survive in space within a wide range of temperatures, like -200 Celsius up to 300 Celsius, which works for some use cases on Earth and some use cases for planets, for nearest planets, for asteroids, for orbits, etc. We got an excellent review from NASA. They said that no question about feasibility, and we proved it implementing the device after that. And NASA also said that it's a huge potential for commercialization. Our company is among one of the best hardware companies in California. And
you pass time, would you please say your final statement, what you want to...
we are looking for seed money and open to talk to angels and other investors. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. The investors, do you have any questions? Also got interested.
I guess in terms of kind of technology readiness level here, where are you guys at? And then also in terms of flight testing.
In terms of what? Sorry.
In terms of the TRL level, the technology readiness level, and then flight testing.
When NASA examined our technology, we were on TRL 3. Right now we are on TRL 4, and we are dreaming about TRL 5.
Okay, fair enough. Cool.
Sasha, it sounds like it's an innovative and disruptive technology. I almost feel like a strategic partnership would be of use. How much funds are you looking for?
We're looking for $3.5 million, and we raised so far $280,000 pre-seed money.
Yeah, you see, usually when there is this kind of expensive development costs, it's a little bit more difficult to get people excited, even if it is an amazing idea. Your connections with NASA, was it good? Would you consider keep speaking with them?
Yeah, we are participating in some challenges, NASA challenges, and we'll participate further because our technology is very wide, and there are many potential applications, not only for NASA, of course.
Sure.
And we have two,
cool.
two pilot projects already in robotics.
Sasha, can you talk about your specific background that makes you the right founder for this company?
I'm a physicist by graduation. I went to one of the best physics school in Russia. It's called Tiesse, and I immigrated in 12 years ago. And I am an entrepreneur and very much technical guy, but have significant background in business.
Do you have any co-founders?
Yes, I have one co-founder. So we are together. We are friends for 30 years. And the co-founder is Patrick Friel. He's patent attorney and very good specialist in IP protection.
Great.
Can I ask, have you done any calculations on the potential cost saving? Because obviously this is going to be more expensive than the traditional methods, but you're going to save a lot of weight, correct?
It's very hard to compare because very different use cases. Sometimes we have a significant advantage in cost, and sometimes no, we have only technical specification advantage. Some parameters are much better. So it's comparable, and it's a competitive situation. It's very good. But what I have to say, we are maybe it's a very rare case for scaling the piezo technologies. There are when you're scaling this, you have so tremendous price advantage and cost advantage, and in our case, it's possible.
Interesting. Okay.
Thank you very much, dear Sharks. Anyone interested to connect with Sasha?
Daniel, I think I'd like to be connected.
Okay. Angelica, to Sharks. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. We will connect you after the event. Please share your GGW profile here in the chat, and good luck with your project. It sounds impressive.
Thanks.
Thank you. The next presenter is Rick Gerard. Rick, are you there? You ready?
I am ready.
Go for it. You got 2 minutes.
All right, cool. How you guys doing? My name is Rick Gerard. I'm the founder of InterTrue. And in my former life, I was a top Silicon Valley headhunter who has helped build over 300 companies at their earliest stages, companies like Apogee and WhatsApp. So the InterTrue journey started with a very bad hire that cost the company close to $1 million in less than 6 months and almost put them out of business. So you see, the founder made the decision to hire a key executive based on a gut feeling and a shared passion for the game of baseball. This was actually the moment that I realized that most people make terrible interviewers. So I set out on a journey to fix bad hiring, starting with the root of the issue, which is the unguided, unsupervised interview. So enter InterTrue. We've developed a method-driven, AI-led interviewing accuracy solution. It's a SaaS-based solution that leads humans to extract real evidence to influence and support hiring decisions, eliminating assumptions, bias, and personal motives that drive bad hiring. So I want to be clear, it's actually not a recruiting or HR technology tool. We're embedded in the operational excellence of the organization, and we're directly impacting operational profit and growth at every level of the company. So we launched last year with about 10 beta customers. We've converted most of our active companies to paying customers, and we have an active pipeline of about 26 companies who are in process to get on board, and we'll be launching our MVP in about 3 weeks. So today I'm raising about 1.5 million to fuel our new customer onboarding, elevate product demand, and enhance product development. We feel our timing couldn't be better as the market demand for people's performance and profitability is at an all-time high. And the CEOs that we're talking to are telling us that they're worried about the cost of making a bad hire more now than ever. And we're the only platform and the team qualified to alleviate their problems.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dear Sharks, dear investors, any questions to Rick?
Do you still have an interviewer giving these interviews, or is your platform just assisting the interviewer with the interview?
We're actually leading the interviewer with the interview questions. So think of it like, we are a coach, an active coach in the interview process, because you can't eliminate the human because the human element is so strong in a hiring process, especially when you're trying to attract talent. But we can coach them to ask the right questions, to dig underneath the hood, to really understand who the person is who's across the desk from them.
And so it sounds like you've been able to test this with a couple of different customers and they're converting to paid. So it sounds like they're interested, they like it. What has been the feedback from those customers? What is it that they like? And was there anything unexpected that came out of that?
Yeah, there's been a lot of pivoting, a lot of unexpected things that come out of it. But the most important thing that we've found from our customers is that they really value kind of having a really solid process that they can rely upon, that's consistent and fair. And it basically leads everybody on the same interview path. So you're collecting a deeper level of insight on each person, and then you're really weighing them against the values of the company to ensure that they are going to be a fit, not just from a skills perspective, but also from the perspective of being able to fit well in the culture.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you talk about like what it is the AI is attempting to measure in the interview process? Like interviewing, hiring, very subjective. Like what specific like insight is it layering on top of the human in this case?
Yeah, so we built a model around core values alignment, and we kind of built this off the back of what Amazon has done since their beginning. But essentially, when people align with core values of the company, their chance of success kind of goes through the roof. It's you can get up into that 90th percentile probably. And so what we've done is we built a model around extracting data, analyzing in real time, like what is being said by the person who's being interviewed, and then providing questions back to the interviewer in real time to kind of dig deeper. And then on the back end, what we're doing is we're analyzing all that data and we're extracting what was said, not summarizing notes, but we're extracting the real data on what was said and converting that or connecting that to the values in how well they align it. So we're able to provide a ranking mechanism for that.
This is a pretty crowded space. Like, you got like the higher views, the job bites. There's a lot of incumbent competitors in here, and they all purport to use AI as well. Like, what would you say your secret sauce is going to be in this like hyper competitive space?
Yeah, I mean, we actually don't see it as hyper competitive. I mean, there's a lot in interviewing tech, and that's super crowded. Most of it's one-way interviewing. But higher view, they claim to be AI tech, but they're kind of catching up. We're actually leading with AI and building with AI as opposed to them implementing AI after the fact. So that's one thing. The other thing is that the combination of having a method that's driving the solution makes it that much more powerful and that much more of a secret sauce, because think of CRM and maybe Salesforce years ago, right? So CRM was essentially like a methodology by which you manage your customers, and then people took that and they build platforms around it. They don't really have those systems. Most of the competitors that are out there like, hey, just kind of plug your own interview process in here and let's hope it works. And so they're not getting that great of results. HireVue is actually suffering for that right now.
All right. Thank you very much. Is there any sharks interested to connect with Rick? Anyone in? Perfect. Rick, thank you so much. Great presentation.
Thanks, guys.
Posed a lot of questions. Appreciate that. So the next presenter is the Edward John. Edward, you ready?
Yes.
You've got 2 minutes and you may start now.
Hi, also, my name's Edward. I'm the founder of Health Haven Technologies. It is a one-stop fitness platform for searching, finding, and connecting with better health. Myself, I'm a chemical engineering graduate and software engineer, kind of by trade, but I'm also a sports nutritionist. So several years back, I realized that trainers, health coaches, and like sports coaches do not get the adequate training they need to market themselves and create a viable business opportunity after they get their certification. So I went ahead and created a platform that is now live on both app stores to allow trainers to both find new leads, new clients, which is often their biggest pain point, as well as manage existing clients. I'm sure you think that's quite a saturated space. As it is, there are a lot of other players in that space. Whilst we generated about 1,000 registrations and have generated some revenue as well, about 100% year-on-year growth from 2022 to 2023. I realized to really unlock that future growth, I needed to use something more personal. During that time, I was diagnosed with a rare nerve condition that affects less than 1 in 100,000 people, and decided I was going to actually offer help to people with that condition around the world. So I took on about 1% by prevalence of the US population on the platform with multifocal motor neuropathy, which is the condition that I have. And I've been helping them with nutritional advice. I've since partnered with the GBS CRDP Foundation in the US to get outreach to pharma companies and neurologists and other health coaches. And I'm now trying to bring them on the app and get them connected with the patients that need that help. So what I'm looking for today is $300,000 in return for about 30% of the company. All of the current traction so far has been just through my own work as a part-time founder. I'm looking to go full-time, obviously, leave my job and really get help into the hands of the people that need it. So thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Right on time. Any questions from the Sharks?
Sure, I'll jump in. Thanks for sharing about your own personal health journey. 1% of the US population sounds like a pretty small market size to me. Do you have plans on expanding to customers with different health conditions?
Sorry, yeah. So I should have clarified this. 1% of the US population that has the condition. It's about 0.6 in every 100,000 people. And currently that is, yes, just for multifocal motor neuropathy. But the foundation that I'm partnered with and who I'm on the task force for They also offer support for Guillain-Barré syndrome, CIDP, and other rare nerve diseases. ALS is also another one because it's often commonly misdiagnosed with multifocal motor neuropathy and vice versa. So yes, to answer more generally, the idea would be to expand to other rare diseases.
And is part of your go-to-market strategy to partner with these organizations who focus on these different health areas?
Yes. So one side of it is obviously getting the platform into the hands of the patients and the people that need it. And often those, well, always they will have come through some kind of hospital, or they've seen some kind of specialist neurologist to get the diagnosis. So having access to that kind of channel to perhaps be like a referral partner would be extremely valuable. On the other side, there's the neurologists and the research institutions that are struggling to collect sufficient data on these diseases just because the data is so disparate and it's not centralized. Other diseases do not have that. So GBS, for example, there is a centralized repository. As far as I'm aware, I think the same is for CIDP. So potentially turning our platform into also a data source and an analytics platform, obviously taking into account limitations on data privacy and the rest, would be another way to take it on the other side of it.
Sure. And how are you planning on monetizing the solution?
So currently, as I said, like initially, and what we are currently doing is offering a lead generation platform with a monthly subscription fee to health coaches and trainers around the world. So that subscription fee is how we generate revenue. Going forward, we'd have to obviously take a fee or some kind of payment from the user side, the client side. So if that's people or patients that are looking for help, they could pay us directly in return for either a plan that's generated by AI that may be trained on data that's provided from neurologists and other health coaches that are specialized in that condition, or it could be directly from the trainer itself, the trainer themselves.
Okay, thank you for the information.
Edward, is the condition easily diagnosed, or is the potentiality of unintended negative impact?
Yes, so there's high potential for negative impact. It's not easily diagnosed. It took me 2 to 2.5 years to get diagnosed. Often, as I said, patients are misdiagnosed with ALS, so they then are kind of going through this time where they think they only have 3 to 5 years to live. That was the case for me for about a year. So there's often overlap with other diseases, and kind of reducing that time to successful diagnostic is something that basically institutions and doctors would like to do with better visibility into that information through clinical trials and everything else.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? All right. Final question is, anyone interested to connect with Edward? Anyone in or out? Okay. Edward, thank you so much for your great presentation.
Thanks.
Very inspiring. Please share your GGW profile here in the chat. We're glad to have you. And the next person to present is Konstantin Mann. Konstantin, are you there? Okay, listen.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you may start now. You got 2 minutes.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm here to present. I'm here on behalf of a company called Alila. So what I'm here to ask you for is for $250,000 for 10% of our company. We have an app which is designed for mental wellness in the form of a game. So the use of the app is based on a subscription where the person actually creates their own journey. So what you have is basically it's an AI platform that responds to the mood of the person, which is actually expressed in the app. So and then the person actually has a conversation with the app itself. Based on the fact that a lot of people in this world actually suffer from anxiety, we do have a solution that actually prevents people from having the anxiety and actually eliminates the need for them to see a therapist. Right now we have over 40,000 subscribers worldwide, and the annual revenue right now is about $500,000. So then if anybody is interested in jumping on board, we'll be happy to discuss more.
Thank you. It was very quick. Appreciate that. Dear investors, any questions to Konstantin?
What was the name of the app again?
Alila.
Alila? Can you spell it?
Yes, Aleela. So, and it is actually based on an ancient Indian game. So, which again, kind of brings people to spirituality, calms their nerves, calms their anxiety, and then eliminates the actual need for somebody to see a therapist.
Konstantin, this is a pretty crowded space. There are many different apps, from mindfulness to actually therapy online and everything in between. Why are you different? Why would people be attracted to you?
The difference here is that basically when you're doing it in such an interactive form, in the form of a game, so you actually don't feel like there's something wrong with you. Whenever you're dealing with a therapist, whenever you're dealing with like an application like Calm or like let's say Headspace, so typically even just just buying a subscription there, right? People do feel like there's something wrong with them. And there's always this like kind of self-guilt, I guess insufficiency in a way. So, but whenever you do it in the form of a game, right, and and it's more interactive, so you actually have like this trust connection, although it's an app, although it's something that's artificial intelligence based, right? You do feel that there's nothing wrong with you, so you have this pure openness, so pure kind of sincerity, if you will.
And how is the algorithms, how are they designed so that they can handle the multiplicity and the incredible facets of human behavior? I mean, the last thing you want to do is to once again have unintended negative impact, and that would be very bad. How would
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely. So it's not designed to cure or treat anything, right? So what it is designed to do is basically to lead you on a journey that kind of what do you call it? Where we actually open up and based on the words, based on the mood, based on the expressions that you actually input into the system. So the algorithm calculates what you should probably do. Let's say maybe you should go take a bath, for example. Maybe you should light a candle, right? So it doesn't really give you recommendations on how to treat whatever you're dealing with, right? But it's more about kind of creating this safe space where you actually don't feel like that there's anything wrong with you. So and that's how the algorithm are calculated.
Thank you.
And we will be, of course, we're happy to share all of the technical specifics. If anyone is interested.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Any sharks interested to connect with Konstantin? Okay, Konstantin, thank you so much. Please share your GGW profile in the chat, support others. This is a networking, founders help founders, and appreciate your presentation. We're moving on. The next presenter is Molly Huggis. Molly, you there? You ready?
I am here and I am ready.
All right, you got 2 minutes and you may start now. Thank you.
All right. So when you see a product claim of being eco-friendly or non-toxic, it's appealing, right? Well, the problem is there are new laws and over 50% of environmental marketing claims on products are not in compliance. To add to this, consumer-driven lawsuits citing misleading green claims are up over 2,700% over the past 7 years. This is not only financially costly to businesses, but also wreaks havoc on their reputation. Businesses simply don't have the time or the resources to protect their organizations, but we do. Softly Solution is a B2B SaaS platform helping keep businesses safe by monitoring for possible non-compliance on retail sites, putting real-time alerts and hundreds of hours of research at their fingertips. We just came out with the bare bones MVP and already have 2 enterprise customers and a solid sales pipeline with a plan for 1 million in revenue by year end and 143 million in ARR in 4 years. And our customers are already wanting more. The CEO of Naturepedic says they're first in line for when we expand our platform to monitor across retail sites, which is the reason for our current fundraise. We need to fully automate our process. Softly is offering the opportunity to invest in our pre-seed round, which will allow us to fully automate our AI-driven risk surveillance with 13 months of runway. We already have commitments from 2 angel groups and are offering a 10% discount on commitments before March 1st. There are 377,000 businesses and retailers in the United States alone that need this solution, and it's a quickly growing market. So come join us as we help not only manage their risk, but also help them tread a little more softly on our world.
Thank you. Right on time. Appreciate that. Dear Sharks, do you have any questions to Molly?
Molly, to what standard are you considering things to be in compliance and non-compliance? Like, I think like maybe an example would be powerful here. So there's a retail store, like what does your system do? Are you like categorizing those products and then like ranking them somehow? Like if you could kind of go into the specifics, that would be great.
No. So what we're doing is we're actually taking a look at the retail site at this time, taking a look at a retail site. Let's say they sell mattresses and they're making claims on theirs. We have a scraper that we developed that's actually patent pending that picks out those. And what we do then is run it against current guidelines and laws. There's the US green claims in the United States, but also green directives in Europe, which just actually really tightened. And then on top of that, we also have APIs that come into our data feed from certification organizations. So this would be, so like USDA certified organic would be an example in the United States. So we know those standards. So you can make a claim of being organic if you have that certification, right? But if you don't, it's going to be out of regulation. And that's what puts you at risk for non-compliance.
Okay.
So what does a competitive landscape look like? And what is your differentiation?
Yeah. So, with the new ESG reporting rules, there's a lot of companies out there doing risk analysis on a corporate level. They're looking at what the company's doing, but they're not bringing it down to the product level. So we're the only ones that are doing that. So not only are we doing this risk analysis, but we're also offering or bringing to the company actual, how can we make these claims better? Just so you know, most companies that are making the claims, a lot of them aren't out of compliance because they're trying to greenwash or trying to do something illegal. It's just there's so many different regulations out there, especially globally. And if you have a product that you're selling in different markets.
And then how does that become actionable information? So I've like made these claims either on a website or in some way. So that kind of goes back to the mothership of that organization. Do they then are expected to take corrective action? Like, do you have kind of a process that supports resolution?
Yeah, exactly. So the way that we're doing it right now, which is why we need the fundraise, is we actually provide a report, like a risk analysis report. So we'll say, okay, you're making this claim. This is where you're doing it on the website. These are the certifications you have. This is the reason it's not in compliance. And these are your next steps, what you need to do. What we want to build out is actually we're in real time, we're monitoring the sites and kind of almost like Grammarly, where it kind of comes up with, hey, here's a non-compliant claim. We're bringing this to your attention to make the change. It's ultimately up to a marketing manager or a sustainability manager to actually drive that change. We're making that recommendation though.
All right. As a more person, thank you. Dear Sharks, anyone interested to connect? Anyone in? Okay, Molly, thank you so much for your passion and great presentation.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Share GGW profile here in the chat. Thank you.
Okay.
And the next person to present is Xavier. Xavier, you there? You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. You got 2 minutes and you may start now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bobby. I'm founder and CEO of Beehive. Years ago, I was on an airplane, international flight with my family when we had to wait hours for the airplane to find a runway, taxi there, and finally take off. I think that no person should ever have to endure waiting hours in an airplane to take off. That's why Beehive is developing a technology that can help 4 planes take off in the time it takes 1 plane to take off. It's called vertical takeoff and landing, which is basically an airplane takes off like a drone, and then it rotates its engines 90 degrees when it's up in the air. So far, we have raised 4,000 as capital, and we're working on integration and manufacturing our airplane. I have experience in working in big engineering companies like Applied Materials, and I've also worked in aerospace companies like Astro Digital, as well as other early startups like Aleph. And yeah, right now the aviation market is $333 billion, and we believe that with our technology of vertical takeoff and landing, we can make the world a better place and cut off wait times.
Thank you very much.
So yeah.
Vertical takeoff planes. What do you guys think?
I've been involved in a couple of other projects. So VTOL, as it's called, it's very popular. Many people have tried it in drone format, in engines rotating. So even if we don't see them flying, it is a very crowded space. Many people have tried and unfortunately not succeeded. Why do you think that you can do it? I would love to see you succeed, by the way, but tell me how.
So I worked as I've worked as a project engineering lead. Usually most people it takes 10 years to get to that level in a company like Applied Materials, and I did it in 3 months. I was project lead in 3 months. So I have the background that it takes in engineering. I have seen other companies like Aleph, which is a flying car startup company. I used to work for them as an intern, and I've seen how they get their product ready for demonstration for investors. And I have been there through the whole process where they, got the investors in and they got their funding, and, they recently got FAA approval to test. And the other major thing is, it's called eVTOL. Definitely VTOL is also, popular, but all these other companies, they're doing eVTOL, which is electric vertical takeoff and landing. And the biggest reason it cannot work as well as a normal plane is batteries fundamentally don't have the range. So we're going to be using hydrogen. That's one of the biggest things. And there's major difference between what most of these eVTOLs are doing versus what I am doing. There's a reason. It's a lot of technical stuff, but there's a reason that we don't have planes with propellers anymore. Years ago, we used to have domestic planes with propellers on them. The reason we don't have planes with propellers on them is because they used to brake at high speed. And so also flying long range, they were much slower than today's jet engine airplanes that you see. So those are a couple of main differences, like Archer and Joby and all these companies, they're doing short distance flights with propellers on their planes. That's not what I'm doing. Also, their plane is, electric based. Mine is going to be hydrogen based, and I'm really building off of the technology we already have. There's no need to reinvent the wheel, like my old boss used to say. The key is really taking what technology we already have and making it better and making improvements. And I want to apply that to long distance flight.
Okay.
This seems like an incredibly ambitious startup. I'm pretty familiar with Joby. I mean, this is a company that took 15 years to get to where it is, massive amounts of capital just to even get it off the ground. Like, I mean, no disrespect, but like, what is your team like? And I mean, those were seasoned people backed by a lot of capital right out of the gate, and they're still not commercialized. Like, this is like, what would make you different?
So I only have a couple advisors, and I'm starting out with my, own team. I haven't fully built out my team, but it's really just my ambition of taking aerospace to the next level. I think I look at Joby and then I look at Archer. I'm not sure why that's the case, but I know Joby is bought by either Apple or Boeing. I think I don't mean to be rude, but I think Archer really pushed to build their partnerships with United. Before they got approval from FAA, they were actually transporting people. So I'm talking about Archer. They were actually transporting people from one place to another just in the airport, and this was without FAA approval. And I think that their really ambition to push their technology so hard is kind of what forced the FAA to give them approval to do testing. And so I'm really looking forward to following in their footsteps. And by the way, so Archer is the only company of all the eVTOLs that doesn't have a partnership and is not backed by a big corporation, which is almost weird because you would think that if you're backed by corporate and you have all this capital coming in, then why wouldn't you be successful? But Archer is the biggest example of just ambition that no matter what happens, we want to push the next generation and revolutionize like aviation technology. Amazon tried to do it with their drone deliveries, and FAA just shut them down because they don't want to deal with the air traffic control. They would rather cut off technology so they don't have to hire new staff and make these new air traffic rules.
Thank you.
I think sorry.
Yeah, appreciate that. It was quite clear, and I think you very extensively answered. So the final question to the Sharks is, who is interested to connect, if any?
Yeah, we should connect. Yeah, our fund has investments in a couple of future aircraft. None of it vertical takeoff, but it'd be interesting to see a deck and kind of chat a bit. Yeah.
All right, congrats.
Great, thank you.
Fantastic. So please share your presentation, so your GGW profile, and we're moving on. And maybe we take one more or maybe two more people, probably one, and it would be Jean-Claude Arton. Jean-Claude, you ready? You there?
Yes. Hello. You can hear me?
Yeah, you got 2 minutes, and you may start.
Thank you. So hello, Daniel. Hello, Sharks. We are seeking $1.5 million investment for Agoraz, our AI-powered socialization platform, innovating connections for Gen Y, Z, and Alpha. We propose a convertible note for initial third of it, with the rest following app delivery and proven traction. So what's Agoraz about? Agoraz aims to forge authentic connections around shared interests and public figures, offering both online engagement and, more importantly, offline connection and interactions. So it serves as a dual platform for both public figures and general users, reducing social anxiety and addressing the pressing issues of loneliness, which impact 30% of the population and contribute to 6 million annual deaths. So our platform uniquely supports social media influencers and emerging music artists at first, offering superior earning compared to traditional streaming services, a focus on the security, especially for the women, and anonymous social pairing through emotional AI, addresses the challenge facing by 40% of the young adults, which is a lot, who avoid socializing due to loneliness, and this is really unique. So market test already went well, indicate the customer acquisition cost about $4-6, balanced by user equity value of about $30-40, and is repaid from the first use. Our test in Paris, leveraging the upcoming Olympics for exposure, and we show the potential to screen about 150 artists weekly. We have more demands, in fact, qualifying 5-10% of them and attracting 3,000 new users from their communities. So thanks to the process, each event is in fact profitable. With our app's affiliate and sponsorship feature that we will build, it will enhance the scalability. So we estimate potential of about $50 million profit margin per month from initial verticals within 3 years. Agora also will cater, on the online side, political figures, business people, and other public personality, like on Twitter, if you want a comparison. But it will encourage benevolence. It will be zero fake profiles, zero trolls, and more importantly, it will encourage real life interaction. So if you want to play the game, I just want to ask the Sharks, I know it's not usual, only one question. In the Maslow pyramid, all levels accounts numerous business in hundreds or even trillions of billion dollars. How many business do you think in the belonging and love layer there are? And what's the biggest one? You will be surprised.
That's a question from me. Okay. What's that?
Yes.
Okay. That's it?
That's it.
Perfect. Thank
I'm
you.
open for your questions.
Okay.
How does another social app resolve this loneliness epidemic that we're in? It seems to me that these applications cause the problem and they're not the solution. What evidence do you have that that is the case?
100%, you're right. Social media, in fact, focus on making the customer a product and sell that product to the marketing companies. That's one of the big issues. So we will be a social network, I would say, by accident, because the core of the business is bringing the people into micro events. And as they are around influencer or around musician, it happens that we finish with a social media where they can communicate. We will not have all the algorithm, to push people to stay online a long time. So we will reduce all of that. The more important again is everything is about, and that's also where is the money. We can make 10 times more revenue per users than on Facebook, for example. It's really about bringing people together. And just, I will give you a comparison with dating, you will understand. Dating, for example, United States is $4 billion revenue, online dating, when in fact dating is more than $150 billion if you count restaurants and etc. The point is people pay for real interaction, people pay for real experience. They don't pay for online. You see that on the streaming platforms for the music as well.
Thank you. Thank you. And the final questions to the Sharks. Is anyone interested to connect with Jean-Claude? Anyone in or out? Okay, Jean-Claude, thank you so much. It was a great presentation. Just share your information, your GGW profile.
Oh, by the way, the biggest company is only Tinder, $9 billion. So belonging and love is the layer where there is no big company. So if you are looking for an uncharted market, I recommend you to look in the sphere of socialization company. That's my word.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And this is how we are completing our GGW Sharks 37. Super excited. It was a great event. We nailed it. And so many impressive projects from around the world. Flying cars, takeoff, like vertical takeoff, like technology that blows my mind sometimes. And we are so grateful you guys participate. And this is the moment when our judges, our Sharks, are sharing their feedback, whatever they have on heart and mind, whatever they want you to remember out of this event. And I would like to start with Angelica again.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everybody, for pitching. I agree, there have been some amazing opportunities. I always say, dream big and propose to us things that make us dream alongside you. If we did not say yes to you today, it doesn't mean that your project is worthless. It only means that you are not aligned with our intentions and with our investment ideas right now. So keep doing what you're doing. The entrepreneurship is the lifeblood of every economy. So I'm happy to have been part of it. Thank you.
Yeah, happy to have it. Thank you. Spencer, yes, sir.
Thanks to everyone for presenting. It's always fun to see what's out there and what's going on. Don't take our silence on any ideas or verdict on what you're doing. We have to say no 99.9% of the time, and that's not really an exaggeration. So thanks for having the courage to get up and pitch, and looking forward to connecting with some of you.
Thank you. And in fact, I saw the statistics recently, and it's like 1 out of 2,000 get funded out of those who are really actively raising. This is crazy. Like it's like thousandths, like 0.005, something like that, in terms of percentage. That's what I saw on the internet, and probably this year is even harder. Thank you, appreciate this, Spencer. Javier, what do you say?
Yeah, thank you guys. It was great to be on this. Just to kind of echo what Angela and Spencer said, you know, a no today isn't always a no tomorrow. And I'm not an expert, so I can be wrong a lot.
That's a very strong statement. Appreciate that, and it's this is how we absolutely see the founders are brilliant, and they will get what they want. Thank you, appreciate that. Then Ellis.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I thought there was some really great pitches today and some interesting products out there. And I know it takes a lot of courage to get up here and pitch. It's great to practice it. Always be practicing and honing your pitch, thinking about time and be cognizant about that. Try to think about answering your questions, be really crisp, like almost the time that it takes me to take my hands and like bring them together like this. You want that question answered. Sharp answers are really important. And I would just like, my feedback would be, don't get too deep into the product details in this really short format pitch. Instead, try to really answer the why. Like, why is there compelling market need for your product? Why does the world need it? And why now is the good time for us as investors to jump on board? Other than that, you know, good luck to you all, and keep at it. It takes persistence to succeed in entrepreneurship.
Well said. Thank you so much, Dan. Appreciate that. Anna, you'll be closing this global session of GGW Sharks 37. No pressure. Whatever you have in mind, please.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. And then second, thank you so much to everybody who pitched. I know that is really difficult. I know that there are a lot of nerves involved. And so really, really happy that you're getting this practice in. I think, as Dan said, it's really important to practice those pitches ahead of time. Make sure that you're rehearsing, have a script. That's really your delivery is really half of it. When you are a founder, you're in sales. That's, you know, that's what your job is. You're building a company, but you're also in sales because you're looking for investment. So make sure that your pitches are clear, make sure that they're concise. In addition to that, I would have like an FAQ sheet of questions that you frequently get asked. Have answers quickly to those offhand so that you're not struggling to come up with an answer. So that would be my recommendation, but like I said, super impressed that everybody got up here and did this today.
And we are excited to have you. Thank you for your recommendations, advice. That's very, very good. And we'll be happy to have you again. Thank you. So this is how we are closing GGW Sharks 37. Remember that if you don't pitch this time, you will get a chance to pitch next time. Just reach out to our team at info@goglobal.world. Create your startup profiles. It's free to create your startup profiles on our platform, and if it's complete and we can verify you, then you have higher chances to be selected to pitch. And it's pitching here is free, so that's a very easy and simple thing to do. And with that said, we'll see you on our next event. I already shared this link in the chat. Just make sure to RSVP, share it on your social media, and support us on your social media, because we don't want to pay Google and Facebook for their advertising. We want you to support us, and then we can keep this event free for all. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.